Clint Eastwood is one of Hollywood's most notorious figures.
I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5?
Known for his dashing good looks, those wildly intense stares, and exuding a confidence that some people came to fear.
Idiots. It's for you.
So it's no shocker that he has made some enemies along the way too.
Right turn, Clyde.
Now that that's settled, let's get down to the good, the bad, and the ugly about why some of Hollywood's other greatest stars, like John Wayne and company, actually hate Clint Eastwood.
Here's to us ducks, because we don't give a quack.
I'm your host, Nostalgic Nick, and in order to understand why people hate Clint Eastwood, we first need to talk about who he is and why he is so important.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Clint began acting in the early 1950s, and he's still very much at it today. He has won 5 Academy Awards and numerous other honors. Simply put, Clint Eastwood is and has been for decades a major player in Hollywood.
I'm just a country boy.
Eastwood, known for his rugged masculine roles, has often been cast as the loner. Countless women have swooned at his cowboyish charm, and he's had many admirers. But that didn't stop people from hating him either. Some were jealous of his success, while others didn't like his point of view and vocality on certain issues. But we're not the judges here, simply presenting the case. As always, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and if you're feeling lucky, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button for us.
There's gotta be 100 reasons why I don't blow you away. Right now, I can't think of one.
Actors who hate Clint. Apparently, Eastwood has made some very famous Hollywood actors rather unhappy with him, and several have promised that they would never work with him again. Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio worked with Clint Eastwood on the movie J. Edgar in 2011, where Leo was championing the project as J. Edgar Hoover, the picture directed by Clint. Issues were throughout, but came to a boil after Leo requested a retake of a scene. Clint instead announced the day as a wrap and calmly walked off set.
With all due respect, sir, you're beginning to bore the hell out of me.
Another actor in Hoover, Armie Hammer, claimed that Clint's style of shooting one take and moving on was so unusual that Hammer actually thought a take was just the rehearsal. And when Eastwood decided to print it and move on, Hammer was flustered, explaining to him that he had his script in his hand the entire time. To which Clint simply said, "I'll edit the script out." Reportedly, both Leo and Clint were cordial for the rest of the picture, but DiCaprio was already slated to appear in a second Eastwood film. But he stepped down, feeling like his voice fell on deaf ears.
Say what? 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 What?
And the one, the only Tom Hanks. Now, Tom Hanks worked with Clint Eastwood more recently in the 2016 pilot true story Sully, the first collaboration between Clint and Tom Hanks. And Tom has stated that Eastwood acted more like a cowboy than a director.
What's it like working with Clint? He treats us like horses.
Hanks particularly disliked being on the receiving end of Clint Eastwood's disapproving glare.
Clint, I have this idea, maybe for the scene, if I do that and I throw that over to Aaron and then you can cut it, it's like...
And even one of Clint Eastwood's own heroes didn't care for the gunslinger. From one legendary gunslinger to another, this one hurts. That's because I'm referring to the Duke himself, Mr. John Wayne, who didn't agree with many of Eastwood's creative liberties. The beef began when industry writers began comparing the up-and-coming Clint Eastwood to the famed John Wayne. John preceded Clint in the Western film genre, as Wayne was the star of Hollywood and always played the good guy who was saving the day, the cowboy who was the hero. Clint Eastwood changed this style and portrayed the rugged cowboy as a loner, and John Wayne hated this, and things escalated after the 1973 release of High Plains Drifter, which would be Eastwood's darkest western to date, in which he starred and directed. And afterwards, Clint Eastwood wrote a letter to the Duke, suggesting that they make a western together. Imagine that. I'm on board. Well, John was not. He sent back an angry reply, denouncing the movie for its gratuitous violence and revisionist portrayal of the Old West. And how did Clint take the news from his idol? By shrugging it off and not answering the greatest western star of all time.
Dirty, rotten, dirty, evil, scheming, devious.
So obviously, the two did not work together. If Wayne hadn't hated Eastwood, we may have had the chance to see them star in a film together. In the 1970s, both men were approached with a script titled The Hostiles, about a gambler and an old man. Clint Eastwood was interested, but John Wayne was not. Lucky for Clint, John Wayne's sour comments didn't hurt his acting or directing career, and Clint famously went on to open his own production company, Malpaso, which has produced many terrific films, just none starring John Wayne. Directors who hate Clint. Director Spike Lee and Clint Eastwood's feud can be traced back to hiring choices made by Eastwood for his two famous World War II films, both released in 2006, Letters from Iwo Jima and Flags of Our Fathers. Spike Lee claims that Eastwood didn't accurately portray the diversity of forces who heroically fought in those battles.
If you blinked, you've missed the one black person that was in it. There were black Marines.
Clint replied to Spike, telling him that he could, quote, shut his face. And Lee responded that since Clint was not his father and they're not on a plantation, he could mind his own. Spike went on with, quote, he's a great director. He makes his films, I make my films. But come on, he sounds like an angry old man right there. Reportedly, the two famed directors have since made up and do have a cordial relationship. Documentary director Michael Moore posted some critical comments about snipers on Facebook around the same time that Clint Eastwood's film American Sniper premiered in 2014. Michael thought the movie glorified snipers in a way that he didn't think was appropriate. Rumor states that at a National Board of Review Awards dinner, where both men were present, Eastwood was given an opportunity to speak and coldly stated that if Michael Moore ever came to his home for an interview, he would shoot him. Naturally, the audience thought he was kidding and began to, I assume, nervously laugh, to which Clint stopped them and said that he was serious and declared once again he would.
It's a hell of a thing, killing a man.
More hate for Clint. Eastwood is known for his conservative political views and has made some comments which upset some other celebrities. Red Hot Chili Peppers bassist Flea felt that some of the remarks made by Eastwood about political correctness in the entertainment industry were inconsiderate.
We see people accusing people of being racist and all kinds of stuff. When I grew up, those things were not called racist.
Speaking of politics, did you know that Clint Eastwood served as a town mayor for 2 years? I just hope he yelled, "Get off my lawn," when people came to visit him at City Hall.
Get off my lawn.
On to a shared lawn. Sandra Locke was romantically and professionally involved with Clint Eastwood years back, and their relationship had a reputation for being extremely toxic. The two lived together for nearly 10 years, even though Sandra Locke was still legally married to another. And things got heated when Clint locked Sandra out of their shared home.
Get out of here.
When he discovered that she was trying to direct and act in films other than his. Locke was beautiful and talented, but her relationship with Clint forever tarnished her professional career after they had starred in several films together. Do you remember The Outlaw Josie Wales in '76? Well, that was the first of 6 films that the two would star in, and Clint even claimed in an interview that it was one of his favorite films. But things got even messier when Locke sued him for palimony alimony, and the two settled the dispute outside of court. Eastwood pulled some strings and got Locke a contract for films with Warner Brothers. Sounds like all was back on track, right? Wrong. Over 30 of Sandra Locke's projects were rejected. It turns out the contract was just a piece of paper. They didn't intend to let her make films.
You want a guarantee? Buy a toaster.
So Locke sued Clint a second time for fraud, and again he settled matters out of court. But the damage was done, and the once couple has never made up.
Everybody's got a right to be a sucker once.
Later, haters. So what did we learn? Clint is basically exactly what you'd expect. Difficult to work with, a little too dark for some Western conventionalists, and has some skeletons in his closet for sure.
Oh, I've got one. There's a Mexican, a Jew, and a colored guy go into a bar.
But he's still at it. His latest project was completed in 2021. The film Cry Macho, once again directing and starring as the washed-up rodeo star who finds redemption escorting a youngster away from an alcoholic parent. So let's talk. Will you tune in to watch Cry Macho when it comes out? Do you have a favorite character that Clint's portrayed, or a favorite movie that he's directed? Let us know in the comments below. We read every one. From starting on Rawhide on the telly to Gran Torino and more. Share your favorite Clint projects below. And if you enjoyed this video, consider clicking that thumbs up for us.
Damn, I think it's great. It's history making.
And subscribe to our channel so you never miss a beat. From all of us here at Do You Remember, thanks very much for watching.